So if you allow me, I'll join on our stage as well, so that to make everyone feel comfortable as well. And whoever got the biggest idea to share, welcome. You are the first one to share it. Okay. So who's starting? Let's please start with you.
I start. Okay. I think that one of the main issues in digitalizing a city is the people, because everyone has a phone, a mobile phone, but then when you go to a restaurant or you go to retail to shop something, they're not digitalized at all. So the main problem is to make that people and companies, small companies, make the digitalization and go and propose products to the customers, because the customer will use the products or the digitalizations. But if you have no financial money to digitalize your company, it's very, very difficult for you to digitalize. I think this is the main issue, the people and the companies to be digitalized. Customers and users, they love digitalization, and they are using the mobile phone every day, and use it to pay, use it to they use Google Maps to go with the car everywhere to avoid traffic jam. This morning I was avoiding or trying to avoid with my car the traffic jam using Google Maps. And Google says, you don't pass through this street, use the other street. But the restaurants, the people who live in the city and who are giving services in the city, they're not using at all digitalization. I think this is one of the main issues we have.
Yeah, I totally agree, yes, with you. I think if to reach a certain level of success, you need to build a strong ecosystem involving private company, for sure, but also a public institution like government or municipalities, and people, actually. You have to involve people in that kind of project, and you have to go to the field to try, even to try and fail, maybe. And at the end, this is the best way to find maybe the win-win situation. Each of these kind of partners, public or private, should take benefits and rewards of this kind of projects and initiatives.
So I had some points also. I think from the point of view of companies, it's always the question of price and added value which the project creates. And it is also important for ecosystem at all that governments should understand the importance of digital agenda. And we, as speakers, also create the value. We are trying to explain people, governments, and they get the view. And when companies shows the benefits and governments understand the agenda, it could be the receipt of success at all.
As for our part, for us, very important to make a very good cooperation with the business and for the government part. And we think that this can make the ecosystem in our region. And in fact, we talked with the different factories, and we know that the digitalization of our companies is really high. So they have automatic process and different kind of analytics in the process, and the high level of mechanization. So now time we try to make a good system from the government side to make the business more comfortable to work and to open a new companies from different countries and make more investments in our country.
But I have this feeling, like I've been talking about this yesterday as well, but I like from my perspective, you know, as I'm like more, I consider myself being an enthusiast of this and I'm really enjoying it and I want to see it actually being implemented, you know, within the boundaries of like on a mass scale. But I have an actual question and it's regarding, so what is the anchor to this whole, yeah, I mean, who is actually stopping it from making it happen? Like, is it more regarding the public sector? Is it the government that, is it the governments that are actually pushing it, like, you know, to the back? Or it's the lack of initiative from the private sectors. It's the lack of ambitious, let's say, no, from the private sector saying, okay, like we need to do this. We have to push this, and we have to make people believe in this. So I have this kind of a dilemma, right? So I'm not sure where to, or like, you know, where to see this, you know, weak point, because like I'm seeing it as a purpose that governments are less, let's say, eager to find this out. They're rather more, you know, like conservative, and they just want to play it safe and see how it goes, you know, until somebody tries it, but not them. Or what do you think?
I think the government traditional bureaucracy they stop all the process, but in fact the first initiative to make any changes must start from the business side, because business all the time the step forward. I think so.
I think you're right. Is the private sector that has to make the initiatives in order to develop the digitalization of the country. The governments, I think they want to digitalize, and they are on the labor of digitalizing the country, but it's more maybe in the administration. So to optimize processes and to give the service to the people who live in the country. But if there are no private initiatives digitalizing, for example, your company or your retail, your shop, your restaurant, you will not digitalize the country. And it's a meaning of benefits. If I'm just surviving on the market, I will not invest in digitalization because I have some other issues is to survive on the market. So most of the small companies cannot digitalize their company because they are just surviving, so they have no capacity to invest money in the digitalization.
Yeah, indeed, it's a tricky balance to find, and I think, and by experience, I think you need to find some early adopters in both private and public institutions, and I mean of people. I mean people who really want to push your project or their idea and make them ambassadors, and go to the field and try to make a good story to tell and to share and to sell to the other people. And by, I would say, snowball effect, it can be incremental, and you will spread this culture, this kind of culture and mindset in both organization, private and public institution.
Yeah, I agree also. Successful stories are very important in digitalization also. And when the company shows a really useful tool, it will be demanded on the market, and it will be just a question who as the main players will be, what kind of role will be devoted to the governments, what kind of companies should be realized in the global context or just local context, and this success story will be implemented in other cities. And it is also successful stories, and also it is important that leaders should understand the importance of digitalization and what kind of benefits they can get from this agenda for themselves also.
Okay. So my last quick question for you, just in a couple of sentences, if you think about it, is how long do you think we've got until the stage where we see it fully implemented, in your opinion? What's your take on how many years we've got left, or maybe how many months weeks, days? Let's hope so.
There is an interesting view that progress already exists right now, right here, but it covers not it covers countries not at the same volume, ways.
I mean the mass scale. Yeah, my goal was actually to find out whether we actually see it implemented on a daily life. So wherever you go, you see it already there. So, yeah, exactly. The question was in seeing it on a mass scale.
So it's for the from my perspective in the Eurasian Economic Union, we already have effective digital project for city, including public transportations, including traffic jams, cameras, and so on. But other cities do not have enough money, for example, to realize such costly projects. And they see good practice. They see that these projects could make more money for the local budget, but something do not allow them to go forward, take money. It's also a tricky question in digitalization on local aspects. So we have digital agenda till 2025 in the Eurasian Economic Union, and we expect by 2025 it will add more than 1 million jobs in IT sector and more than 10% plus to union GDP. But I think it is impossible that every local community will be digitalized in the same manner as big cities because of money. I think at first point you need to have the critical mass for the project.
I like the idea of quick sentence, but no, it's actually not a good. I mean, it's an awesome thing. So thank you for sharing it. Yeah, let's wrap it up just quickly in a couple of sentences. So I have to move on. But yeah.
Okay,
regarding the question.
Okay, for sure that's a good question and a tricky one. I guess if we could be able to put together all the initiatives around the world, this city of tomorrow could be done tomorrow. I mean, because I think a lot of initiatives around the world are going in smart cities, but each smart city need to start from one or two domains. It could be mobility, energy, waste management, citizen, name it. And that's partial deployment. But if we could be able to put all together all this initiative around the world, could be nice. But we have to keep in mind that we have already to deal with legacy, and that's usually the tricky point of the
Okay, okay, gentlemen, I'm afraid I'll have to end it on this note. But it was amazing. So I would like to give a round of applause for our gentlemen for sharing their opinion. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for having your time here, for sharing your thoughts with us. So you're welcome to sit back and enjoy the rest of our show. And yeah, the selfie. We got the tradition. Every time after the panel, we got the selfie. That's for sure.